Tonight on The Roast, magnifying glasses for giant ballot papers and Rupert Murdoch to face a second parliamentary inquiry. But first, a leaked classified Pakistani intelligence report claims Osama Bin Laden was able to avoid detection in Pakistan for 10 years due to the incompetence and negligence of Pakistan's intelligence and security services. And just how incompetent are we talking here? Well, I have an actual copy of the classified Pakistani intelligence report, so they've got some holes. And this document slams them for failing to detect the world's most wanted man for a decade. I mean, they didn't just miss him, they missed him bad. There were so many mistakes, you can't help but wonder whether there was something other than incompetence behind it all.
Okay, no, wait. Okay, Pakistan, your turn. Truth or dare?
Dare.
Okay. So you're going to let Osama Bin Laden into your country, right? Cross the border, you cannot arrest him.
Come on.
And right, okay, you've got to let him live in a massive barbed wire mansion.
All right. But a massive mansion inside a cave.
No. I reckon he should live down the road from
From the
Pakistani Military Academy. Yes!
Yeah, right next to it. Suckers!
That actually happened. Not the dare thing, that's stupid, but the rest of it is totally true. In fact, Bin Laden was even pulled over for speeding, but the cop let him go. It's hard to say what would have been the biggest giveaway there, the license and registration, his rear windshield, or the fact that he looked exactly like the world's most wanted terrorist. Because he was Bin Laden. But look, we can't put all this on Pakistan because Bin Laden also evaded the CIA for years. And now reports show he avoided detection from drones courtesy of some groundbreaking stealth technology.
To conceal his identity, he shaved his beard and at times even wore a cowboy hat.
What? Well, I can't believe they couldn't see Bin Laden just because he was wearing a cowboy hat. Oh my God, that actually works. Who knew that simply wearing a cowboy hat? Christ! Are there any other invisible cowboys on set? Hats off? We're done? All right, clear out of here. So it turns out the CIA didn't find anything weird about a 6'4" cowboy living in a giant compound in Pakistan, because they're everywhere. All the time those drones were looking for this guy, when it turns out they should have been searching for this one. So it turns out this cowboy hat technique worked pretty well for Bin Laden, right up until he got shot in the face and dumped in the sea. But it means we have to update the official top 3 ways to avoid US intelligence list.
Still going strong at number 3, it's hiding in plain sight in the Ecuadorian embassy. Moving up to number 2 this week, it's hiding in an airport departure lounge. And new this week to the number 1 spot, stick it to the CIA by wearing a cowboy hat. Now you see him, now he's a Yankee. And our wildcard entry for this week, be distractingly hot. It worked for that hot chick.
Next up tonight, Rupert Murdoch will face another inquiry from British MPs after he was secretly recorded allegedly criticising the police investigation into the News of the World phone hacking scandal. In the audio released by Channel 4 in the UK, the media tycoon and Emperor Palpatine stunt double also discussed the practice of journalists paying police for tip-offs on stories. In the recording, Mr Murdoch is allegedly heard to say, "We're talking about payments for news tips from cops. That's been going on 100 years." Or the equivalent of one Murdoch. It was also recorded saying that when he first came into the News of the World office back in 1969, there was a big wall safe, and he was told it was there because sometimes the editor needs some cash on a Saturday night for powerful friends. Because sadly, powerful friends just don't take Diners Club. Now, when Mr Murdoch first faced this inquiry back in 2011, the day was marked with a dramatic moment in which he was attacked by a protester with a shaving cream pie. Back then he had his wife Wendy to protect him, but they've since split up, so he's going to have to find a replacement.
Hi, my name is Rachel Corbett and my agency is MCM, and today I'm going to be auditioning for the role of Rupert Murdoch's wife / pie catcher. Are we ready?
In your own time.
Okay. Look out, he's got a pie! Oh God! Rupert, my darling!
Great, thanks for coming in, Rach. Can you send the next girl in? Okay. We'll call you.
Why didn't you get me that audition? I would have killed it. I've got to fire my agent. Now, Murdoch described the last inquiry as the most humbling day of his life, so who knows what he'll say second time round. It was the most humbling day of my life. Again, it's kind of like Groundhog Day of humbling days. Ooh, note to self, write that script. Working title, Humble Hog Day, starring me. Well, Nick Richardson has been in the Sun offices covering this scandal, and he joins me now in the studio.
I got the tapes, Tom.
Oh, you haven't been secretly recording people again, have you?
Oh, you tell me, Tom.
You haven't been secretly recording people again, have you?
Oh, you tell me, Tom. I'd only been in the Sun office one day, and Hugh Grant already thinks I'm a piece of shit. And since the Sun reporter gave Rupert a taste of his own medicine, I thought I'd give the Sun reporter a taste of Rupert's medicine.
Ooh, Cialis.
That's metaphorical medicine. I taped the guy who taped Murdoch. Listen to this.
Check. Geez, there's a lot of checks in here for the police. Okay, now entering the office of the guy who taped Murdoch.
Hello, Nick. Please, take a seat.
Hello, sir. Let me shake your hand.
Your faces really need to be pressed against each other.
No?
And get off my lap.
What are you doing?
And this goes on for a while. Hang on. Yeah. Here's where I zing him.
And stay on your side of the desk. Like I was saying, thanks to this, I feel like I'm one of those guys from Watergate, like Woodward and Bernstein.
You mean because you recorded every conversation you had?
Yes.
And that makes you Nixon. You don't want to be Nixon.
See, he doesn't want to be Nixon, Tom. I zinged him.
No, you did. You zinged him. But look, even though this neo-Nixon's done something good in releasing the tape, it's a shame that he collected it in such a nefarious way.
No, exactly, and that's why I can't fall into the same trap, which is why it's time I retired this.
Between you and me, I don't blame you for recording Murdoch. I work for a complete prick myself. Have you ever heard of Tom Glasson?
You weren't supposed to hear that.
No, I want to hear the ending. What did he say?
Have you ever heard of Tom Glasson?
No, never.
Shit.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to hear that.
I'm going to find my agent. Get out of here. I want one of those hats. Anyway, to our final story, and Victorian electoral officials have ordered 40,000 magnifying glasses to help voters see the candidates on this year's Senate ballot paper. The AEC's manager, Steve Kennedy, said the glasses will probably add about another $15,000 to $20,000 to election costs, which really isn't that much when you consider that the Labor Party's recent leadership spill cost taxpayers an estimated $5 million plus, and all they got for that was a knife, plus it was second-hand. So at $20,000, these magnifying glasses are costing around 50 cents each, which is competitive, but I'm pretty sure they could find them cheaper. Come on, magnifying glass. Shit joke. Green frog. Tiny comb. Ooh. One day I'll learn how to monetize my love of Christmas. Now look, the major problem with the size of the ballot paper is that with so many political parties registering, it needs to be printed in 6-point font because the AEC is restricted by what the printers can print. So while it is possible to print guns and bullets with a 3D printer, they still can't print the pieces of paper that decide the government any larger than A1. Thankfully, our Rachel Corbett has been trying to solve this problem and thinks that her new political party might have the answer. Rachel, which party's yours?
The smaller ballot paper party, Tom. We have one election promise. Make ballot papers smaller.
Okay, you realise that by registering the smaller ballot paper party with the Electoral Commission, you're actually making ballot papers bigger.
You're right. I hereby withdraw the smaller ballot paper party from the ballot. Hey, I just delivered on my election promise, Tom.
Hey, yeah, you did. That's great. Now, of course, the main reason why these ballots have gotten so large is that all Senate candidates have to be listed for anyone who wants to vote below the line and select their preferences individually. Terrifying political waters that I'm yet to dip my toe into, but thankfully, Mark Humphries has. And we'll cross to him now to help us understand why people vote below the line.
Tom, voting below the line makes you an elite peak-performing voter. You're not just filling out one box on your Senate form, you're filling out 70, sometimes 80 boxes. You're doing the heptathlon, while everyone else is just dawdling the 100 metres.
Yeah, that sounds like something I might be able to do, you know, after some training. Are there any other benefits?
Well, voting below the line means you can decide where your preferences go, instead of the parties who often make some strange decisions. For example, in the 2010 federal election, if you were voting in New South Wales and voted for Labor in the Senate, your preferences would have gone to the Socialist Alliance, the Climate Skeptics, and the Shooters and Fishers Party before they eventually reached the coalition. So, if you think the coalition might be more worthy of your preferences than a party that named itself after its two favourite violent hobbies, then voting below the line could be for you.
Yeah, right, so this could really be something worth doing.
You bet! But only around 5% of Australians vote below the line. The other 95% want to get the hell out of that booth and into a sausage sandwich. Tut tut.
I could go one of those now, but that's the end of the show, so good night!
These hats are awesome.